Let's travel China's 5-day virtual tour of the magic and beauty of China. For centuries, Chinese legends hinted at the existence of ancient dynasties occupying China's rich river valleys. Archaeologists have now confirmed those tales to be true. With a history spanning over 9,000 years, China presents the oldest continuous civilization on Earth. Although scholars can spend a lifetime studying this fascinating civilization, our visit will last but a few minutes. So let's pack our bags and begin day one of our journey. A look into the history of China through the eyes of its current capital of Beijing and its former capital, Xi'an. Within the heart of Beijing rises the magnificent Forbidden City, the largest government complex on Earth. Deep within the city's massive walls stands the Hall of Supreme Harmony, site of the enthronement of emperors. 24 emperors have ruled the kingdom from the Forbidden City, their gates of power, and the almost 9,000 rooms that comprise the city, fiercely guarded by Chinese lions. Emperors did not just rule. At the Temple of Heaven, they performed priestly duties, including seasonal sacrifices and prayers for bountiful harvests. This elaborate temple points to the sky, its golden finial marking the center of the universe. Morning exercise comes with colorful flags. And elsewhere in Beijing, the afternoon may bring a pedicab ride through a charming Hutong neighborhood. An evening may include a night at the opera, the world-famous Beijing Opera. The Great Wall of China, the world's longest man-made structure, travels a portion of its 4,000-mile length just north of Beijing. Although ultimately failing as a line of defense, the wall survives as a testament to China's desire to protect and preserve its history. Let's travel west to the ancient city of Xi'an, home to the Terracotta Warriors. For no fewer than 11 dynasties spanning 4,000 years, Xi'an was China's capital. Interestingly, it was one of the shortest-lived of those dynasties that produced one of the most amazing archaeological discoveries of all time: a life-size army built of clay, complete with soldiers, infantrymen, horses, and carriages, thousands of them buried to protect an emperor's tomb. Let's move on to day 2 of our virtual tour, a sampling of China's most remarkable scenery, a look at the Li River and Zhuozhaigu. The Li River and its surrounding landscapes has been the muse for millennia of Chinese artists, poets, and philosophers. Born of an ancient seabed, pushed up by tectonic forces and worn down by the forces of nature, this magnificent region is held in hushed reverence by all who have witnessed it. Just a few miles from the Li River, at Longjitishan, farmers, not forces of nature, have modified the landscapes. In these mountains, the climate and plentiful water favored rice growing. The terrain did not. So rice paddies were built, some over 700 years old. Nature's hand, however, is clearly visible at Zhuozhaigu, China's most treasured national park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The park includes exotic, calcified limestone pools, slow-moving crystal-clear streams, broad crashing waterfalls, and peaceful lakes, reflecting rugged, snow-capped peaks. And if you travel with us deep into China's bamboo forests, you may come face to face with its most famous inhabitant, the giant panda. Giant pandas are picky eaters. Bamboo is just about all they'll consume. And although they eat just once a day, that mealtime can last between 12 to 16 hours, during which these big bears can put away up to 40 pounds of bamboo. Thanks to preservation efforts, the population of these lovable creatures has recently stabilized. Yet, the fragility of their natural habitat, the bamboo forest, keeps the giant panda on the endangered species list. Let's move on to day 3 of our journey, entirely devoted to the mysticism of China. Welcome to Tibet. distance are shimmering palaces, once the residences of Dalai Lamas, and monasteries, still home to orange-robed Buddhist monks. Monks whose unassuming lives still include long, clockwise circuits that travel by sacred prayer wheels, which they spin as they pass. Each year, thousands of devout Buddhists make their pilgrimage to Tibet. Following in the footsteps of the monks, they also quietly walk the prayer circuits. Before departing, some leave colorful prayer flags atop the hills and rooftops. And in the distance, far beyond the flags, looms the tallest of the tall, Mount Everest. At over 29,000 feet, this massive peak is still growing, adding about a centimeter in height each year. Also indigenous to Tibet is the Tibetan Mastiff, one of the rarest breeds of dogs in the world. On first sight, Marco Polo described the dog as tall as a donkey with a voice like a lion. Tibetan Mastiffs are well known for their intelligence, strength, fierce loyalty, and protective instincts. Also of note, the children of Tibet. They represent just one of China's 55 ethnic minority groups. Let's now move on to day 4 of our journey, which takes us from the mountains of Tibet to a cultural site of China, the magnificent gardens in Suzhou. For centuries, Suzhou epitomized Chinese culture because it was here where the silk industry thrived. Over 1,000 years ago, silk, spun by silkworms, processed by laborers, crafted by highly skilled artisans, eventually found its way to Persian kings and Roman emperors. The secrets of silk manufacture became fiercely protected. Even Marco Polo's writings commented on this, noting that the penalty for revealing any element of its production was death. With the secrets of silk preserved, local merchants became famously wealthy, building elaborate mansions set among quiet, private gardens. Today, our tour visits those same mansions and gardens, offering a welcoming, serene sanctuary and a moment to pause at a fish pond or a place in the shade to feel the breeze and listen. And finally, our 5-day tour concludes in a modern setting, the city of Shanghai, only an hour away from Suzhou, but worlds apart. Here, along the banks of the Huangpu River, rises tomorrow's China. As the nation's most populous, most fast-paced city, Shanghai is also China's commercial center, and its shopping center as well. And while Beijing has its opera, and Suzhou its silk, Shanghai boasts its world-famous acrobatic troupe. From thousands of applicants, only 25 are chosen to perform, pulling from a repertoire that includes umbrella foot juggling, chair balancing, catapulting, and plate spinning. Each show presents a unique, upbeat, and dazzling mix of athletics and aesthetics. Our 5-day virtual tour comes to a close as we leave the skyscrapers of Shanghai behind. This was just a tasting of the marvels and endless beauty China has to offer. We hope you will join us soon on one of our real excursions. Till then, happy travels from all of us at Let's Travel China.